Hello everybody. Thanks for joining me again. I have enough to update you on that I thought I would come back to you before a month is out, because next week, in the middle of the week, we'll be leaving for a trip to Colorado. It's a trip we usually take in September for about a week, and I guess I could have filmed after that, but I just felt like I had enough progress and things to share with you that I wanted to come back. I'm going to reach over here and get my list. Sorry. I wanted to come back. Some updates now. So here we go. I can already see I forgot to grab something. So I will do that in a moment. But anyway, I'm not outside because I had enough things to share that are in they're pretty large enough projects that it would be more difficult to be outside, even though today it was like 52 degrees this morning when I went for a run around 7 a.m. and it's like a high of 70 or something right now. It's crazy. I'm gonna get Ravelry up in front of me so we can talk about some projects. And yeah, so we're having a bit of lower temps for a few days, and I'm loving it. It's so much fun. I felt like so lightweight and everything when I was running because it's like so crisp and yet not the annoying or more challenging type of cold in the morning that I have to think about, like, do I want to wear my fingerless mitts or, you know. Anyway, I'm Renee, by the way, forgot to say that. And I just wanted to update you on a few things and share with you a couple things that I've discovered along the way in my knitting projects. I am coming to you on, oh, or do you have the calendar flipped over to September? That's so weird. I think it's August 26th. It's Tuesday. It's the day that, it's late afternoon. It is the day that I teach my class at the Y. On Tuesdays, I teach a stretch and flexibility class to a lovely group of people that have already been there for several classes. This is what I love about them. They've already been through, they've already done a step class, a weight class, a weightlifting class. They might have done something in between that depending on when they started their morning. And then they will often end their mornings at the Y with my class, which is yoga-like stretch and flexibility. We get on the mat, we do all kinds of moves that will be good for someone who's gone through a couple of those classes. So I'm loving it. This is one of the things that I did when I retired early. At the end of 2023, I became certified. But the once a week class is perfect for me because I'm now doing some other things, which I'll get to at the end. Sorry, I will bookmark this intro because it's too long. Okay, one of the things I want to start with that I have shown you in parts and pieces is today is release day for Briana Arlene's Desert Days sweater, which I was a test knitter of, and I will show to you the pièce de résistance, which is the color work at the end of the sleeve. And can you see, I'm going to show you, I can see it better on the back, but can you see, yeah, it's not really picking it up well, but there are these lovely fan-like increases because they're called lifted increases. I've never done that before. And I've actually also never used indie dyed yarn for the body of a sweater. So in this color work, it's supposed to be 2-color color work, and I got a little mixed up and started using these 3 colors that I really wanted to use and realized, oh, this is actually only supposed to be 2 colors, but I'll tell you about that in a second. This is so squishy and soft. This is Lavender Lune yarn. We got a discount if we used Lavender Lune. It's got a wider neck than I'm used to. I'll talk about that in a second, or that not that I'm used to, it's larger or wider than I prefer, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I do have some elastic in there. There is a crochet, what's it called? Something where you can crochet, I think it's at the bottom of this ribbing to bring it in. I tried that, but I'm not a crocheter. I wasn't the right person to try it. I did it too tight. So unfortunately that didn't work for me. But do you see this ribbing, this beautiful ribbing, half twisted rib, and it's got this rolled little stockinette stuff happening at the bottom. I just used a regular bind off in pattern, but do you see how that looks? I love it. I love that look. So I have some, as I said, some elastic in here that I haven't trimmed off yet because I was playing around with drawing it in. But because it's chilly, when I put this on the other day again, I had a camisole under it, and it is like a very big hug. This yarn is amazing. It's a non-superwash. I'm going to look it up while I'm talking. It's a non-superwash. This is the sport weight. She has it in different weights. This color is called Cameo. So let me look up, I want to look up the name. Oh wait, it'll be in my project. And I'll just give you some specs on this. Lavender Lune Yarn Organic Sport. So it's merino, and oh my God. And so I didn't know, like, I thought this would be a deeper color, but it's kind of like cafe au lait or like a latte, coffee and milk kind of color, like coffee lightened with milk. And I did do helical knitting for the body my very first time because I've never used a yarn that I needed to do or I wanted to do helical knitting. You can see that I used like the first ball, and then as I started on the body and joined in the round, I was like, oh yeah, I should do the helical knitting. So I did the knitting where, the helical knitting where you do a round with your first ball, and then like 3 stitches before your beginning of round marker, which I think on this, I don't know if it was in the back or under the arm, but nevertheless, 3 stitches before you slip those 3 stitches and then join the new ball. And so that way your 3 stitches, I guess the 3 stitches that you're slipping travels, and that's how you can kind of disperse the pulling. I think I did that somewhat on the sleeve, you can see that, and then I just didn't do it anymore. I was comfortable enough with what was going on. And whatever color difference you're seeing here, it's not at all that obvious for real, in real life. I loved this pattern. It wasn't my favorite to knit color work in a small circumference because I don't know why. I don't know. I guess in sport weight or anything that's not a sock, it just got a little crowded, but it was fine. And here's what I used here. I got 2 colors of the Lavender Lune, which is this burgundy and this green. I guess that was my original plan. Thinking back on it, if I ever needed to do that again, I would not necessarily buy a 100-gram skein of yarn for this little color work. I don't know what I was thinking, because I don't know. Sport weight's tough though, right? I don't know what I would have done. Maybe searched out for some minis, because now I have the leftover. So the green is Fernwood and the burgundy is Persistence. So I have some yarn to add into another sport weight a sport weight project, which won't be a problem for me because I do like sport weight as a sweater. And I, at some point, have popped in some photos, so you'll see the whole look. I'm using, let's see, I used the recommended US 5 for the main needle and US 3 for the ribbing. I did purchase some mini skeins from Brit at Babycat Yarns because I thought originally those were going to be my colors. I talked about this a few videos back. I showed what those look like. I did end up using my favorite Babycat yarn color, which is Old Orange Boy, which is this like, oh, this tobacco-y amber tan. I just couldn't help but use it. So I'm really glad that I incorporated that in after all. Yeah, so that's that. Really easy, really simple. This was my first introduction to Briana Arlene. I like the way she constructs her sweaters. If you're looking for something that's not constructed to be super oversized, more tailored maybe, less positive ease, then that really is the designer to check out. And so I think she has a, I think it's called a folklore sweater that has rabbits on it. But I do think she's working on another version of it, maybe a different weight that really appealed to me. I can't remember, but I love that pattern and I'm thinking about it. It's definitely in my favorites. So we'll see. Yeah, so she probably has a discount code right now. I haven't looked at that, but that's, as you know, the norm. So take a look. I guess I'm talking about finished objects. The other finished object I have, I'm just gonna grab it. It's in my closet. I'll be right back. All right, back. I made, since the beginning of the year, 2 hats for a nonprofit that is collecting winter knitted items here in the Pittsburgh area. It's called, let's see, I have it, Knit Hope PGH, Knit Hope Pittsburgh. And you were to make either hats or scarves out of acrylic, and pretty plain, like not color work, not stripes, in other words. And so I made this hat that I just finished. You'll see that it's got, I think it's 3x5 ribbing on top and 2x2 on the bottom. This is called the Mixed Rib hat from Purl Soho. I don't know whether it's a free pattern or not. But when I remind myself of that, I will check that out. And it's got some cable thing that you do at the end to tighten up the top. I've never been able to figure that out. I actually tried it this time and I couldn't do it. So I just decrease and rapidly decrease and then pull it in and call it a day. I tried though, I really did. And then this one is knit a little bit larger, and this one I did earlier in the year, and it looks like it's just a ribbed pattern. I probably did a hat that I've done before. Oh, this is with Lion Brand Heartland. This was bought before even Joann's said they were closing. It's so funny. I've had this, I bought both of these at the, like when they were having a big sale or something. So this is definitely Heartland. And this one was, I think it was that Joann's brand, like Basic Stitch or something. And I couldn't help myself and got the Tweety, even though we weren't supposed to like make things really flashy or something. So let me see if I can find, it might have been the 2x2 hat. I've made this a couple times by Andrea Gagnon, Gagnon. I will be listing that down below, but very simple. And so they have drop-off points starting 9/1. Throughout the month of September, and one of the drop-off points is my neighborhood library, not the one that I go to weekly, but it is close by. So I will very happily drop these off. It's really something. I didn't enjoy knitting with either of these yarns, but I would do it again, and it will mean that I'm searching out different types of acrylic. My local yarn store, Moon and Yarn Craft Room, carries a certain brand of, I think it's DK weight acrylic that I see sitting there all the time. And so maybe I'll try that out the next time. If you have any brands of acrylic that you like, if you're making donation hats and scarves and things, and you've got like a go-to that still exists, that wasn't a Joann's brand, then let me know. I would be very happy to hear about that. So, finished objects. What else? Oh, I did finish a pair of socks. I always have a pair of socks going. These ones are different though, because it's the first time that I did a pair of socks using a size 0, US 0 needle. I think that's a 2mm. And I just added in some fun stripes to break up the monotony of the sock. And I also think this is the first time that I picked up the gusset stitches without a crochet hook. I just challenged myself for, I don't know why. It doesn't matter to me. But so this is Kinetic Knitter. That's the yarn. And I am in love with these speckles. And I think the thing that really gets me is like the brownish speckles, just the variety of these. They're not really speckles, are they? Like striations, dashes. And then I used Heritage Sock. I don't think I have the ball band for it. Oh, I do. Color 5757 are the stripes. So yeah, I was very happy. I did a twisted rib. I'm not always going to do a twisted rib. I don't really like purling, I don't like knitting like that. So I have another pair going. I'm not doing that. And this is just, a vanilla sock. And my next pair, I'm going to make a little longer so that it goes up over the ankle. And I want to see how that stays on using a size 0. I have never worn a pair of socks in shoes because I can feel the sock, I can feel the stitches, and that's why I was trying a 0. And so we'll see. What else do I want to say? Oh, Kinetic Knitter. I don't remember the colorway, so I will list it below, but she doesn't have it on her Etsy shop right now. It's beautiful though. You can find it in some people's stashes, but I didn't find any that were for sale. I got this at a White Elephant party that we had at my local yarn shop. It was so much fun. So that's what I scored. I'm making another pair. I'll show it to you in a moment. And I'm going to add in stripes again just because I don't know. I haven't really been interested in doing a sock pattern at this point. So the stripes are working for me. I don't think I have anything else finished just because we're talking about it. I'll show you these. I always have a pair of socks on the go, so I don't really talk about them until they're done. But I did want to talk about this yarn. You won't be able to tell anything. I'm going to cover myself about this yarn. I'll show it to you in the skein. It's not picking up the beautiful pops of orange. Well, I guess maybe it is. But we had a Steel City yarn crawl. I don't know, was that in August? it's still August. Was it? Yeah, early August. I didn't participate in the crawl, but I did visit my local yarn shop, Moon and Yarn Craft Room, to see the trunk shows they were having, just to say hi, be a part of the day. And 29 Bridges was there. I don't think I have Mary Heron. She lives in Maryland. We had a wonderful conversation. Do you see that stitch marker that she included on her card? Is that clever? So I heard about 29 Bridges from the Grocery Girls because she was at Magpie Fibers when the Grocery Girls were there, and they met her and they talked about her. And so I just wanted to stop by, say hello, and I knew I was going to support her by buying some sock yarn. I saw this knit up in a Stephen West shawl. If you look up this yarn, oh, I'm sorry, this is her sock yarn called Cider. That's the colorway. And I'll put the name of the sock yarn on the screen. And yeah, my winder did a really bad job, so I had to like hand wind some of it. But I'm loving the way this is feeling. We had a great conversation. She's from the Pittsburgh area. I told her I used to live in Maryland, and now I'm back, and now so we have so much in common. It was so much fun. I am really hoping that I run into Mary again from 29 Bridges. Just such a sweetheart, and her yarn is beautiful. So that was a really fun day. Before I go on to a couple works in progress, I wanted to share something because it's August and it just happened to be this past weekend, the Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet Festival. I hope that's what it's really called. And I didn't go this year. Last year I was brand new knitter, had been knitting for X number of months, and this show came up. So I was excited to go. I didn't know what to expect, but I wanted to wear something that I had made, and I had not made that many things by that point. Let me just look and see. I know I had made I started off with I made a scarf. That was my very first project. And then I made, I made the Open Trails vest, which is what I'm wearing. I made another one. I'll talk about that in a second. The third thing I made before I started my flax sweater was the top-down circular yoke pullover practice version. I still make practice versions of things. Sometimes they turn into the real version, but I'm totally open to making practice versions. So I had bought some Purl Soho yarn, plain air. I didn't make anything out of that to wear because it ended up feeling a little scratchy. This was my practice version. And so I just wanted to show it to you because if you're new here, then you've never seen this. And I showed it a very long time ago. It's so heavy. This is oh yeah. Oh, you can imagine how disappointed I was when the color change happened. Now, it's not as obvious in real life. It just isn't. You know this if you're a knitter. The camera on my phone is really picking it up. But this is the Purl Soho top-down circular yoke pattern. It's so lovely. It has, you can make any length sleeve. I just made my little cap sleeves and I had so much fun. Holes under the arms, just a plain rolled. I could have made these sleeves a tiny bit longer. I had this weird blip right there. And I wanted to wear something knitted to the Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet. Oh, by the way, this is made of K+C, KNC cotton, knit and crochet essential cotton in the color Rainforest. It is the Joann's brand. It's very heavy, but it feels very sweatshirty. So if you have some of this, it's lovely to work with. I have a really pretty deep red, and yeah, I guess you could make a vest out of it, would probably be the best use. But even if you were just making like a throw-on sweater for the summer, I don't know, on a boat. So I wore this, but I was like, so like, oh no, it's got this weird blip and it's too colored. So I wore this like elbow sleeved little cardigan on top of it. Turns out when you go to these festivals, like even Rhinebeck, when people talk about making a Rhinebeck sweater, whatever, you can wear whatever you want. Sure, it's fun to get into it and make something and whatever, but it doesn't matter. And it's hot a lot of the time, and just have fun, and yeah, don't worry about it. But my past me, my heart goes out to my past me who was so nervous wearing this and thinking, are people going to think I'm a complete idiot wearing my beginner knit project? And the people, of course not. So just wanted to show you some of my early projects that you may not have seen. All right, works in progress. I'm going to show you this work in progress that's almost done. I actually don't know whether I showed it to you when I was outside the last time. But this is the Stornoway tee that has run away and become a sweater, which I think I always knew it was going to, because I'm making it out of merino. So I think that was the plan from the beginning. But here it is. Oh my God. It's so bouncy because of the ribbing. It's not really ribbing, but it's like an accordion, you know, this texture. And then this beautiful stockinette in between. So I finished one sleeve. I marked my decreases. I had to make up the decreases because this is a short sleeve sweater by Cheryl Mokhtari called the Stornoway tee. And I'm making this because of the weight of the sweater. And I think, the weight of the tee. And I think the sweater version had a different makeup. And so this worked for me better. I'm using a size 4 needle on the body. I'm using Drops Davy unraveled from my Staff and Light vest because I made that too large. I did the neckline using US 3.25 millimeter instead of 2.5. I don't know why I didn't use those, but it turned out just fine. I did not go down to US 2. The number of stitches I picked up for the neck ended up less than the pattern, but it worked out fine. I did my first, what's it called, fold over collar. I will show you the back. This is heavy, but this is like, for me, a throw-on cozy sweater. And yeah, this fits just fine. The decreases are fine. I'm following the same decrease pattern on this side. I have tried this on. It's been steam blocked in some stages. Oh, I'll show you the back. But and I did, for whatever reason, do the ribbing, but I've got some yarn ready to lengthen it. I just did what I did, stopped where I stopped after I tried it on, and then perfectly willing to lengthen it after it's blocked. So I just wanted to do the ribbing. It looked okay. I think it is going to grow a little bit. And this is what these gorgeous shoulders look like. This is a little wobbly, but I'll take it. I did not know what I was doing when you started building this whole little area. This was a practice sweater, I have to say. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. It's pretty advanced for me, the steps involved in getting there. You're cutting your yarn a lot there. I've got a fair amount of ends in this sweater, but that's a striped sweater. And if you look on my Ravelry page, I don't know. I'm obsessed with knitting stripes, I guess, it seems. This is my stripe era. Oh, okay, so yeah, I'm loving this. I am making it out of Drops Daisy. I've had to buy more Drops Daisy. Thank goodness I'm getting in before the tariffs, I think, start August 28th or something. I ordered this from Linda Hobby, and I've done a really poor job tracking how much yarn because I didn't unravel the entire Staff and Light vest because it got all knotted up and tangled at some point. So I stopped unraveling it like halfway, and I've bought several balls of this in 2 different orders. So I will get there in the end. The green, this is Marzipan, and the green is Knit Picks Woolen Cotton in Garden Gloves. I had to buy another ball. So this is, I'm on my second ball. I haven't used a whole lot. I'm gonna grab it. It doesn't look like I'm even halfway through this new ball. So we'll see. I'm about, what, a third of the way done with the sleeve. And yeah, this has just been like so rhythmic. There's always something to do. Yeah, I really like making projects like this, I have to say. Any project that came out this year, and there were quite a lot of them that were built like this, I have favorited because, I don't know, it's attractive to me. So on some of these, I don't know when I made this switch, but definitely on this sweater, when I was binding off, I don't do sewn bind offs at this point. I've never done one. I'm just doing bind off in pattern. I have found that the super stretchy bind off ends up being too stretchy and it can look flared for me. So I found a Lauren Elkin video where she's doing a modified Jeny's super stretchy bind off. I will link it. It's called Modified Jeny's Super Stretchy Bind Off. And instead of doing the yarn over in between you slipping a stitch over a stitch, you're just doing the yarn over when you come upon a purl stitch. So it's not every stitch. I actually did that for the first time on the Lusk tee, the navy and white. And I'm liking that a lot. So that's working for me. I've done it ever since, anything that I've bound off. Before we get to my latest cast on, I wanted to show you something I'm playing around with. I don't know if I have this on my Ravelry. I don't know if I'll add it or not, but this was one of those other experiments. I have a lot of leftover linen quill minis. There's a blanket right there. It's the Rain or Shine blanket by Stephen West. And I made that blanket using linen quill set of 40 and a set of 20 just to get a whole variety of, well, first I bought the 20. And then when I realized I wasn't making the thing I was going to make, I ended up buying the 40 so that I could do the Rain or Shine blanket and just use all the colors up and down the 40 pack. So that's that. I made it for my my daughter and her soon-to-be husband. And I have a lot of leftovers. This was the pattern I was going to do, but at the time, I couldn't do it. This is the Pirouette Shawl by Purl Soho. I'm making it as a blanket or a throw, and I'm not making it the same size. This is a free pattern by Purl Soho, and I'll show you the chart. And they show you how to put it together, and I've drawn a line around the size that I'm actually going to make. if I continue making it. I just wanted to see if I could do it. So I started off with this square, which is why, I suppose, why it's curling. Then you pick up 31 stitches, and then you make another triangle by immediately knitting 2 together to create a triangle, and then you add it. I'm not using the same color pattern, so I've done this much. I don't know if I'm gonna keep going. I don't love picking up the stitches in the held single linen quill. I really liked using the linen quill held double, which is what this is. It's marling all the way through. I don't want to make another one of those though. So I might end up doing, they have a mitered square blanket or shawl. I'm gonna try that. So this was just my little proof to myself, can I do this now? Because I was heartbroken when I tried to pick up the stitches and it was looking really messy for my daughters. This is what I was going to make for her to throw over a bed or the chair or sofa. We'll see. I want to try maybe the mitered square too, and we'll see how all of that. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to make something out of here that I have my eye on a lot of things. But this particular thing is the Olga, I'm sorry, not the Olga vest, the cushion vest. I will try to show you a photo of that fluffy yarn that you somehow hold in front of stitches that you're stitching. I was originally going to use Magpie Swanky Sock held double, but then I realized, wait a second, I have to just float fluffy yarn, or not fluffy yarn, could be fluffy yarn. I have to float fluffy yarn in front of a number of stitches, and then knit a stitch, and then do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Then after you do this three rounds, you then go back and you capture half of, or the center of, those floating stitches. And this, you can see, it looks a little wonky because I need to straighten some of them out. This was very hard to do. This was harder on the front because you're picking up things and you're doing things on the purl round. On the back, it looks much neater and more even because you're doing things on the knit side. So I don't know how to explain that any better other than to say, I wish this was the front. I'm sure some advanced knitter could figure out how to make that happen. But I'm in the middle of stitches for the neck. I'm in the middle of it because I'm unraveling my neckline that I just already did. And I made a little bit of a mistake. So that's why I have it just dangling here, because I'm gonna finish picking them up later. But this is made out of Purl Soho Knitting Yarn. It's this yarn, this beautiful marled goodness. It's 100% merino, but it's Falkland. I don't have that. No, I'm sorry. It's Peruvian merino, which it has a toothiness to it, but it's not super prickly. So it's perfect for a vest. It would also be perfect for a sweater for me, just nothing that's gonna, well, maybe not for a sweater, but I know I'm always gonna be wearing this over something. I'm loving the way this works, the way it acts. It's lovely. It's DK weight. It's lovely to knit with. It's stretchy and bouncy, toothiness. I would love to use it in cables. I know I've never knit a cable. I've never even wanted to knit a cable, but we'll get onto that in a second. Yikes. So I've joined in the round, lots of little fluffy ends to weave in. This will look a little better once I weave in those ends. Thank you to the person on Ravelry, by the way. I could not understand how to do this. So I reached out to somebody on Ravelry who's made this vest, and I said, how do you do this? I don't know what I said. She very kindly responded and said, yeah, it's not slipping stitches. It's floating yarn in front of your work. So she linked a video that's similar to what we're doing. I will link it below, but more importantly, I will link in my Ravelry project so that if you come upon my project, even though I don't know if you would actually want to follow anything I'm saying because it's not the neatest work, but I do like the color. I was disappointed that I wasn't able to use the magpie yarn that I bought for the project. I tried because one of my favorite projects, the Dragon Knitter, uses regular yarn. You can clearly see that. She's amazing because you have to be so advanced to do that, in my opinion. Amazing. So yeah, I had to use a fluffy yarn. I used 2 strands of the Amano Uma alpaca lace held together. I had leftover baby blue. I love that blue. And unfortunately, I had to go to the yarn shop, my local yarn shop. I wasn't happy about this and I bought the other 2 colors. So these are only 25 gram balls, thank goodness. And I held them double. It's a very fine lace. This is it held double. And I have the colors in my Ravelry. The names don't make any sense. In the picture, they're using Les Garçons fluff. And if I wanted to spend that much money on 50 grams of Les Garçons fluff, it would be a different story. So if you have that kind of fluff on hand, that's really what makes that cushiony stitch or floating in front of your stitches. I have felt the Les Garçons fluff at the Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet Festival last year at the Robin's Yarnbirds truck, which is where I got this yarn. And yeah, it's amazing. I think it's like 26 bucks or $28, and I just didn't want to do it. So that's that. We'll see. Oh, and by the way, my stitch count when I got to the body is way off. It's like 200 stitches, and it's not supposed to be 200 stitches, but I don't know why. I think I might have been creating stitches when I was gathering. I just don't know, but I did the measurements and it looks like it might be like, it's fine. I've tried it on several times and I think it's going to be fine. I started knitting the size 2 and then I don't know. I just don't even know. I think I just got so excited about this project and then I got so wrapped up in doing this more difficult than I thought it was going to be stitch. I just wasn't paying attention, but I think it's going to work out okay. I really do. I'm on my 2nd ball of the knitting yarn. I have 3 balls. I don't know if I'll probably maybe break into the 3rd, but lovely yarn. And it's on sale right now for like $11.53. It's normally $15. So, and lastly, I think I won a free pattern from my lovely friend, Jeny at Honeybird Studio. She's on Instagram, but has a lovely YouTube channel and she took a break and she is back now. I'm going to find the exact name, Honeybird Studio. introduced me to lace and cables. She's a fearless and very talented lace and cable pattern knitter. So she inspires me. She was like one of the first knitting channels that I found. And so I would love to go back like from a year ago and watch some of the videos that I was like, how can you do that? You know, not that I can do that because I haven't done cables yet, but I think I would view them differently with a different eye, which is why I want to go back and look at some things. So I just wanted to first tell you about her channel. And secondly, tell you about the pattern that I chose. Oh my gosh. The Wool Weft Vest by Sarah Opie. I'm in a complete vest mode, as you can clearly see. I'll show you a full picture here. Maybe I'll put a picture up here too. I don't remember where, I think I saw this on Instagram. Let's see, this is DK weight. I did some of my sport weight left over with an alpaca lace. Would that be DK? I don't know. I'm just going to play around, see what happens. But here's the catch, the thing that really got me about this vest. I love the detail of how the color is changing. That's mosaic, but it's not all mosaic, right? It's only mosaic where it's changing colors. And so that will be a new thing for me, technique. It says the Wool Weft Vest uses mosaic knitting to create transitions between 4 colors. Work top down, beginning by casting on for the back of the neck, increasing along the upper back, stitches are picked up. I am just so excited about making this. It comes in, I think, 10 different sizes. It's a DK weight, 20 stitch gauge. And yeah, I'm so happy that I saw this. And then I heard or saw my name announced as one of the pattern giveaway winners. And I was like, I have the pattern. I know exactly what I want to make. So speaking of vests, I want to get back to what I'm wearing. So I had originally knit this as the Stockholm slipover. You'll see it on my Ravelry projects as that. And that was the first time that I knit a item that had a, what are those called? Trapezoid as a back. This was a petite knit. This is a petite knit pattern. So you're knitting the trapezoid and then you are joining the front and the back. I'd never done that before. She shows how to pick up stitches in a way that's so cool and you can't see the join. And then you're knitting the front and then joining. That was like my first time. I loved it. But I didn't know about the petite knit patterns, how they can be oversized. And I wasn't, I guess, paying attention that much to how much ease that my corresponding bust measurement was going to give. I would make a smaller size now so I wouldn't have as much ease. And then she does have a little bit of waist shaping, which of course, I don't know why I didn't pay attention to that. It would probably be helpful. So I found that I wore it to Rhinebeck because I only went on Saturday and it was really hot out in the afternoon. So that was great. And I loved having this beautiful Walcott origin yarn that I had bought at Knit and Crochet Festival in Pittsburgh. But I unraveled it. I washed the yarn, skeined it up, or wound it up again. And then I knit the Open Trails vest, which I had successfully made before. This is a worsted weight yarn, but it's knit bottom up back when I didn't know different knitting techniques. And I knew exactly what I did in that pattern. I knew it would work and it did. And I like the way that it fits. It's, you know, just the right size. It doesn't have too much ease, and I measured it against the first one I made, and it worked out. I was going to embroider this vest, and I might still do that. That's something that I'm thinking about. I bought the transfer paper that kind of melts away. I don't know, maybe one day. That would be fun. Okay. So that's all the knitting content I have. I will just end with a couple life updates. So I'll bookmark this for you so that in case you don't want to stick around for that. Thank you for joining me so much. I am so glad you're here. But before you go, if you can tell me what you were working on, and if you and if you're like wrapping up summer stuff, or if you're like me and just knit whatever you want to knit, regardless of what season it is, yeah, let me know that. I'd love to hear about it. What's been happening otherwise? My daughter's getting married in October. It's a small wedding, but we've been doing some wedding prep things. She already has her dress and her shoes and the veil and all of that stuff. It's at the wedding dress store getting alterations. But yeah, really low key, but still it's a place where there's going to be people and there's planning to do. So it's been fun. Then we're going to Colorado next week. We go to Colorado every September. I think I already mentioned that. And I was training for and have now started a part-time gig work type job at the medical school here in the Pittsburgh area. We have a couple medical schools. I'm working at one of them. And I am working in the standardized patient program. Sometimes it's called the human simulation program, as a standardized patient. And if you don't know what that is, it is somewhat referenced in a Seinfeld episode I've heard. So if I haven't mentioned this before, I'll just explain it really quickly. You are trained to work with the learners, who are the medical students, in all 4 years of their medical school. And we are usually portraying a case. So I'm portraying someone who has a certain condition, has a medical history, a social history, and I am being questioned by the medical student, the learner, as if we are in a real scenario. The human simulation area of a medical school is usually set up just like you're in doctor's offices. There's several of them. And sometimes you're in a setting where all the medical students are there and they're all taking turns interviewing you, the person you're portraying. And it's an art of not giving away information, letting the student ask you things to bring out information that they may need, and then having them learn that if they don't ask certain things, they're not going to get certain information. You can't rely on someone to be talkative. And the biggest part of the job that we learned is, and are still learning, is effective feedback. That's a very methodical thing that we learned, in that I felt this when you did this, is how the basic framework, it gets very nuanced, and it's a super important part of why we're there. So there's continuous training on that. We could be working with the medical school, the nursing school, the physical therapy school. I have a gig at the pharmacy school, many different scenarios. The one that I did a couple weeks ago was to just be an ultrasound patient. So I didn't have to portray a case. I just had second-year medical students. A doctor is always attending these events. But for several hours, groups of medical students would come in. I'm the person laying on the table, taking breaks, and they're finding certain organs. They're instructed to find certain organs in the body, and looking at nuanced parts of the heart, the liver, whatever they were doing that day. So it was really fun. The medical students were wonderful. There's a whole variety of people, lots of female medical students from all different backgrounds. It was super fun and rewarding. This program's been going on for at least 20 years. I'm meeting people that were originals in the program, and I'm meeting someone who could be 25, 30 years old. So it's really fun and super rewarding because you can see how you're helping. The medical students are so appreciative of us being there. So that's what I'm doing. I love the job because you decide when you want to do a gig. There's plenty of opportunities. Both our medical schools here in town have a human simulation department. And so it's perfect for someone who wants a lot of flexibility, but also wants to be super engaged and learning so much when you're there in an environment, a learning environment. So that's been super rewarding for me. I'll keep you posted how that is going. Please let me know what you're working on while you're watching this. I'm so happy each and every one of you is here. I would love to engage with you in the comments. I have so enjoyed all the help, all of the recommendations that you all have shared with not only me, but everyone else in the comments. So please check out the comments if you're watching this video and see what people are saying and sharing and talking about. And also, I am Adventurer Knits on Instagram and also on Ravelry. So if you'd like to connect with me as a friend on Ravelry, I love looking at what my connected friends on Ravelry are doing. I get lots of inspiration from that. So feel free to join me over on Ravelry. I wish all of you in the US a wonderful Labor Day weekend. And thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in a few weeks.